Hey Yoli. Alright guys, so I got my normal recording headphones. Oh my gosh. Well, hello. Welcome to the stream. How are y'all? Oh my goodness. Hello everybody. Alright, what is up my peeps, Smith in here, and welcome to the last episode. This is going to be like an hour and a half. The last chapters of Missing tomtord. We're going to be reading from 29 from 21 to 29. Alright. No spoiler. I'm scared to see what Alex said. Oh my god, he called me babe again. Alex, I will slap you. I'm sorry, guys. Alex is a complete retard. Alright, let's read this. Chapter 21. Tord's point of view. Stop sniffing my butt! I'm sorry. My dog's being weird. I woke up on a pretty uncomfortable bed with thinner sheets than usual. My vision was slightly blurred, but when my eyes adjusted, I realized where I was. I was in a room on the more hospital-like side of the infirmary. This means the surgery was done. I pulled myself up and looked at my right arm. There it was, my new robotic arm. I extended it out in front of me, moving it around and getting a good feel of it. It moved somewhat smoothly. Now that everything was done, I could head home to Thomas. Maybe I'll break the news to him about what I've done. But okay. I stand Oh yeah. I will at the end. Don't worry. I will, Emma, don't worry. I stand and step out of the room. Hello. I stand and step out of the room walking through the echoing and cold, uncomfortable halls. Comforting. I can English. Then out the doors of the infirmary. The woman at the front desk saluted as I exited through the rusty, squeaky front doors of the infirmary. I took a deep breath of fresh air. I wouldn't need it after what just thinking of the bone I saw and sharp utensils sent a shiver down my spine. Walking through the outdoors, I realized how cold it was at the beginning to get. It was beginning to get. The grass was slightly frosted over and crunched under my boots. Before I knew it, I was at the front doors of my home. I pushed open the doors and was met with not what I expected, to say the least. Tom was on the couch, curled up in a... I was honestly confused as to what had happened while I was gone. Miss me? What do you think? You know what you did. Footage of a crumbling and burning building was displayed on the screen. He was talking about what I did. Ah, so you found out. You were planning to tell me? And how could you... And how do you think that would go? Thomas, calm down, I demanded sharply. Do you really think I'm going to calm down? That wasn't the request. He sprinted at me, fiercely tackling me and slapping me straight across my face. My eyes shut up to his, which were overflowing with tears. He collapsed on top of me, pounding his fist on my chest and striking a bit weaker now that he had given in to sadness. I pulled my arm around him and told him to shush, and everything was fine, even though I was the cause of this. Get out of my fucking life, he mumbled quietly, pushing my arm off. I was fed up. All I did was make his former statement of having another place to go incorrect. Okay. I picked him up and threw him into a room separated to mine. I heard banging on the door, following by shouting. Then it was drowning out by the sobs of giving up and curling into a fetal position on the ground. That was a really short chapter. Alright. Chapter 22. Tom's point of view. Something's definitely wrong. Tord hasn't opened the door to let me out since the other day when he threw me in. This also means I haven't gotten to eat or drink since then. I'm considering eating Gerald, but he has a wife and kids. Then again, he's just a potted plant. I'm not taking my chances. I lay down on the floor, staring at the ceiling. My only friends were most likely dead. I know, right? Even if they lived through what Tord had done, it was unlikely they had anywhere to go. Even though I had eaten anything, I haven't eaten anything. The thought of this makes me sick to my stomach. I turn over and curl up in a ball. I just wish I was home. I wish none of this had ever fucking happened. Ed's point of view. I left the hospital, nowhere to go. Tom was missing and Matt was gone. I had literally nowhere else to turn. Until a thought popped into my mind. A really stupid thought. But a thought nonetheless. Besides what could possibly go wrong, I literally have nothing to lose. Walking down the street felt different alone, but it wasn't too bad. I felt semi-confident, but my confidence was slightly ruined by what I was about to do. I stared up at the apartment complex that looked like it wasn't touched by the slightest bit of rubble. The building next to the one my friends and I had once occupied. It looked a bit more expensive and made with far better quality than my apartment. There were many balconies on every room. Who can even afford that? Well, I know who, but it's fun to dramatize. Oh my gosh, my chest burns so bad, y'all don't know. Well, dramatize it in my thoughts. This was my only option. I approached the building and pushed open the glass doors. Ooh, fancy. Too fancy. I approached the front desk where a woman sat. Excuse me? I asked, getting her attention because she was looking down at some paperwork previously. Oh, well, hello there. What's your business here? She asked politely in the slightest Scottish accent. Wow! Another cliffhanger. Oh. Is this a teacher at you, I see? Ooh. Okay, I'm sorry. Chapter 23. Third person's point of view. Is there someone occupying these apartments by the name of Eduardo? The Brit in green hoodie asked the secretary at the front desk. After everything that had happened, this was his only place to go. Both his homes were gone, both destroyed by that commie. He was turning to Eduardo, as much as he hated it, his neighbor and rival. Eduardo went through the loss of one of his close friends as well, during the first incident that had to do with that communist fucker. So he'd have to understand, right? No. Ed was nervous about this, and maybe even a little bit aggravated that he'd have to go to someone he had hated because something Tord did. But he tried smiling, or at least looked looking neutral in front of the woman. He couldn't look miserable in public, even after everything he went through. Actually, the secretary cut the silence off after shuffling through some neat stacks of paper to her left. There is, she smiled widely. His room is on the second floor, room 132. Lol. I almost said 123. If you would like, I can contact him and tell him someone's coming up to see him. No thanks, I'll just head up there now. Ed replied, Ed replied, already starting to walk away from the woman. She nodded. Have a nice day, sir, she called out, but Ed couldn't really hear her. He was too caught up in thought. I'm sorry, I'm currently dying right now. Ugh. He was too caught up in thought as he had reached the stairs and started climbing. The descent was fairly slow, but that's only because of the unsure pace Ed was moving at. I'm sorry, I'm getting sick. So, yeah. That's why I'm doing, the next 6 chapters, yeah. 6 chapters now. Yeah. Alex, fuck you, Alex. I'm sorry, forgive me. But he knows not to call me babe. I am not his girlfriend anymore. So he can go fuck off. Alright. Ed wanted to prolong the time he had before talking to his hated enemy. There's always time to turn back. That thought kept going through his mind, but truly this was his only option. It was since the second Matt died. But he didn't dare think about it till he got out of the hospital. Ed's point of view. One step after the other, I got closer to his door. It was too soon when I finally got to it. Even though it took me 10 minutes, I'm pretty sure the people in the hall were staring. I probably looked like I was walking away from an explosion in the Michael Bay movies, and everything slowed down. I extended my hand to knock on the door, but was interrupted by the door slamming into my face. Ah! I called as I was pushed against the wall. Wall by the wooden dingus. I heard someone's voice. For a second, I could have sworn I heard Ed. It sounded pretty confused, but definitely not happy. It wasn't really completely upset, I guess. I assumed it was Eduardo. Here. Oh, hello. Here, I said with exaggerated pain in my voice, pushing the door back a bit to walk out in front. To walk out in front of them. He scowled and some Mexican band started playing from somewhere. I honestly still don't get where it's coming from. Well, if it isn't Ed, it is. I know I was just making a point. I cut him off. Listen, I sort of need a place to stay after everything, so you think I'll let you stay here? Well, it's not like anyone else would want to move in with you. Hey! Mark lives here. Isn't that right, Mark? He looked back and Mark wasn't even paying attention to the conversation going on. I chuckled a bit, seeing how it looks like he didn't really care. But I felt bad, I guess. So, what do you say? Fine, he growled, giving me a Seth glare. Those Seth glares are very scary. To which I returned the favor. But this doesn't mean our feud is over. You're only staying here till you find a place to live. He continued and put out his hand to shake. Deal. I said, and walked in without shaking his hand. Dang, dude, you a beast. Good God. If he is still much of an asshole after everything, he doesn't deserve my handshake. Time skip brought to you by literally nothing. So King Jessica and I have this funny thing when we're role playing. When we go like the next day, she or her or me goes like, brought to you by gayness. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't have many belongings left, so I slept on the couch of Eduardo's apartment. I need a job. Why is it? No! No, 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 no. Copyright, copyright, copyright. Literally nobody cares. I don't care about copyright. I mean, I care about copyright, but stamp. Stamp, 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 stamp. Stamp. Okay. Let's continue this. Third person point of view. Nothing has gone on in the base for quite a while. It's been the same thing for all the soldiers. Wake, eat, train, eat, sleep, repeat. Well, other than for the slackers, that is. But out of all of the places that could be quiet, Tord's home was the quietest. Tom refused to speak to Tord, often drinking the pain away and passing out on the couch. Tord honestly didn't care anymore. He just went to work and hoped that everything would go back to normal. Well, until he had an idea that would hopefully get Tom to talk again. Tord slowly put on his uniform and walked out to sleep by now. The night was so quiet, every little sound around seemed... It's weird. Like the sound of the layer of frost on the chilled hard soil as it crunched beneath two large steel-toed boots. Immediately looking down on the set of corridors and multiple turns, all memorizing where every soldier stayed and with who. If he forgot, with a few doors. He approached one, knocking on a fight after all. No answer. He knocked again, this time louder with more force. This knock probably from happening. The government didn't forget about, threatening. Lifted the weights of the mattress and they got up, stepping toward creaked open slightly after unlocked from the inside. Pat, you have to get the normal clothes and head out to the store. You have a budget of 50 KR to go out and buy on clothes for the trip into town to buy whatever was on that list. Oh my god, holy hell. I'm sorry, my chest. I might have to cut this short. I'm not sure. Chapter 25, third person point of view. It was quite a brisk morning in the taxi or bus would come along, dropping people off, picking them up, then amongst the most unfamiliar crowd there, perched up on the bench. The one, if you know who these two were, Paul and Pat were pretty complex. The ones that RL recently killed. Paul paused, looking down. What were their names? Ed and Matt. Ed and Matt? I'm pretty sure the green one got away, but, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm dying right now because my throat, holy crap. Holy bouts. Alright. Paul nodded, unknowingly. What? Unknowingly. I'm fucking stupid. That's acknowledging. I am retarded. Acknowledging Pat's understanding on the subject. And stood up, beginning to walk towards a crosswalk. In the other side of the road sat a clothing store, one they'd assume still proper apparel they needed. They crossed the street at the same time as a few other people, included a pair of British biscuits with fringes. What? Including, well, holding each other's hands. Well, that's cute. Oh, fan. But they did write fringes. I am confused. Yeah, I might. I'll just stop at 26. So I'll have like 3 chapters to read next time. Upon seeing the two, Pat thought it'd be appropriate to hold the hand of his curious love interest. Stiffly moving his hand from beside him to the hand of Paul. To the hand of Paul, interlacing his fingers with the brunette's awkwardly. A power of pink spread across his face as he tried to hide his face with his sweater. Paul, blushing as well, returned the gesture, turning away from Pat. Not really. He was about to walk into whoops, there he goes. Not realizing. Pat let out a chuckle as Paul pulled himself from the large street away from the large street lamp base. He shook his head off and began to burst into laughter as well, drawing attention from those around them. The stares of the tourists and natives of London didn't stop their laugh fest. It only made it worse until they started whispering about them and promptly shut them up. Pat, who was literally on the floor from laughing so much, pulled himself to his feet, smiling warmly at Paul, and walking into the store to get the items needed. Despite what had happened, he attempted to stay on task, even though he'd rather stay there, hand in hand with his little friend. Friend-zoned! Laughing their asses off as long as they could before the crowd began to become disturbed. It was the best part of hanging out with Paul in Pat's eyes. They'd tell each other jokes, be buddies, do the normal guy stuff. Or, well, as normal as you could get for two gays in a communist army with a leader that had teetering mental health in more ways than one. I'm sorry. I mean, that was their version of normal after all. Just two friends. Just buddies. Two pals. Yep. You know, they're like, I'm gonna say it fine. You know, they're like, guy bays. They're gays. Fucking kill me. Time skip. Brought to you by gayness. What? After purchasing the items the list had listed, they decided to crash at a hotel for the night. They used a mixture of the cash left over that Tord had given them to buy dinner at a nice restaurant downtown, then decided to crash at a hotel, take a load off, relax, and other than phrase or word you could think of for such. Yes, I English. Oh my god. I'm tired. I'm sorry. I'm really fucking tired. Work was stressful. It put a lot on their work was stressful. It put a lot on their shoulders. Being the two right-hand men was even worse. They had to come closer to the crazy commie, which wasn't always too good. It was honestly just pretty terrible. They just needed some time to spend by themselves, with each other, together on a small balcony, similar to the one just about every hotel room. But this one was different. Solely, I don't know, because of the two lovebirds who decided to perch upon it. Smoke rose into the chill fall air after the satisfying flick of a lighter. Significant. I don't know. Significant. Don't judge me. I'm retarded. Signified. Haha. Paul had lit a cigarette. Why is it just paw? Pah! Sometimes work would prevent him from having a good smoke outside. He couldn't in his rooms at night. He didn't want to harm Pat or anyone else in the building. Let's face it. I'm cute. I'm sorry. He just didn't want to hurt Pat. Time skip 2.0. Brought to you by Mega Gayness. Later that night, they snuggled into bed. The only one in the room, but they didn't mind it. They just faced away from each other. Paul Pat forever! Or is it Paul Trick? Paul Trick forever! Shook. Don't look at me that way, Yoli. You know you like it. Shut up. Until 11:27, when Paul felt a warm breath against his neck and arms wrapped around him. I'm cold. Pat's voice rung out in the silent room, but Paul just nodded in understanding. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave you. Let's read this. Screw this. It's a smut. Alright, for any of you innocent biscuits, you precious little babies, yeah, leave. This is 13 plus. Yeah, so basically what's happening is this is Paul Trick smut. So I'd recommend leaving soon. Okay, I've never read smut on this channel. Lord, forgive me. YouTube, forgive me. Chapter 26. You get it? Get it? Chapter 26. Third person's point of view. Pat tightened his grip on Paul, gently squeezing his chest. You know, I love you, right? He whispered softly into the darkness, causing Paul's ear to moisten. It's moist with the dampness of his breath, tickling the inner lobe with condensation from the contrast of generally chilled air surrounded the unoccupied space around them. Occupied space them. Okay, it was a pretty lonely seeming room. It was a pretty lonely seeming room. The wallpaper on the walls was coming apart at the edges, cracking down to the ridges of the room, stained with mysterious unexplained liquids. Blood. But at the same time, it wasn't lonely at all. Paul was breathing heavily. His face looked like that of a ripened tomato or strawberry, and surprisingly that shade could be deepened. And so it did as Pat ran his ran his chilly hands up and down Paul's thigh. Brought to you by Gayness, like I said. Each time inching oh god. Each time inching the slightest bit closer to his member. I'm sorry, I'm fangirling right now. This is my second favorite Eddsworld ship. Bing. Paul's breathing hitched as he lost control of breathing steadily. Though he practically clamped his mouth shut to make sure he didn't moan. This was surely something to happen on his bucket list. But he didn't expect it here and now. However, without Boss around, it was perfect. It was a perfect opportunity. It was a perfect opportunity. Fuck me. Fuck, taking it nice and slow. Paul sprang up to Pat's delight and tackled Pat with tight grip on his gripped embrace, kissing him down his sensitive neck. Pat squirmed, both in discomfort and pleasure, as Paul gently bit down and sucked on the delicate skin of Pat's neck, leaving a mark. I'm sorry. Paul wasn't the loudest person in public, but damn, he was an animal in bed. Oh, God, this is killing me, man. This is fucking killing me. Especially now that it came to his deepest desire to be with his best friend in a more sexual relationship. The fact that he realized what he was doing at that particular moment made him smile, not in a perverted or joking manner, but in more of a sweet, saturating, I don't fucking know, type way. I love you too. Paul spoke in a mixture of mumbles and whispers as he ran his hand from under his lover's jawline to the bulge beneath his breeches. You don't know. Just leave. Leave if you don't want to see this. Because I'm fucking reading this here and now. Stroking it in a circular motion as he kissed Pat tenderly, keeping each other's moans from escaping, despite them desperately wanting to hear what the other had to offer. Pat stuck his hand straight down Paul's boxers, feeling around and getting a good image of his size as he pumped it, causing a muffled to escape Paul, who had just pulled away from the kiss. Before Pat could finish, Paul pulled his wrist away and practically begged for the messy-haired brunette to remove his undergarments, pulling at the waist and beginning to drag down to reveal Pat's well-sized penis. Fucking hell. YouTube's gonna hate me for this. To which Paul looked with pleading eyes as he wrapped his mouth around the tip. What the fuck? Wait. Moving his tongue around like a tentacle of some sort. Tentacle porn. You gotta love some of that shit. As he began to suckle it gently. Who says suckle? I don't know. Like a baby getting milk from the breast of its mother. Fucking hell. Oh my god. Except Paul was receiving a different kind of white liquid substance. Oh god. Pat moaned in a louder manner as Paul softly stroked up and down. Paul hit out. I can do better than that, but I'm not. Which surely concerned or at least disturbed other occupants in the hotel. But that didn't matter now. All that mattered was that they were together. Oh my god. Believe it or not, that was a fucking burp. Just leave! Leave, Rockruff. You might as well leave now before it's too late. Because it's about to get to the real part, man. YouTube's gonna fucking block me. They're gonna be like, how dare you? This is inappropriate. Well, I warned them. What the fuck? When the fuck? What the fuck? Am I the only... What? I'm sorry. Alright. Let's do this. A while later or something. Paul inserted himself into Pat, who groaned in pain. It wasn't every day your closest friend's dick was inside of you. Holy fuck. Do you want me to stop for now? I can wait till you're comfortable, Paul panted. No, please go on. Destroy me. We won't get this chance again. Pat spoke as if he was a starved animal of sorts. Nodding, Paul dove deeper into the tightening asshole of his little friend and began to... Holy fuck! Under-eaten, forward and back. Both of them a mess, moaning in delight. You could basically see the hunger of love in the two's eyes. I think might be... fuck! I think I might be about to... Pat was about to talk, but instead both of them released their fluids into their room or each other. At that point, Paul completely pulled out, gasping for air as he clung to his gay love, drifting straight to bed after such a tiring activity. Oh god, the smallest of being freaking kills me, man. Well, guys, that was the end of this lovely sin.